Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Carolyn Myers on the line, and she is CEO over at FendX Technologies, Inc. And this is part of our DealFlow Discovery Conference series, where we bring you the best of those that are attending and participating in the DealFlow Discovery Conference. For those of you that haven't been watching the series, that's going to be January 28th and 29th, so it's coming up fast, but you still have time to purchase tickets and to meet Carolyn and all of the other people that you've seen on this series. Just head on over to DealFlowDiscoveryConference.com and pick up your tickets. And again, that's January 28th and 29th at the Borgata in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Carolyn, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Happy to be here.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. So I want to get into FendX Technologies, Inc., of course, and also into what you'll be doing over at the DealFlow Discovery Conference as well. But before we do that, we'll start this episode the way that we start them all, with what we like to call our Mission Matters Minute. So Carolyn, at Mission Matters, our aim and our goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, for executives, for experts. That's what we do. Carolyn, what mission matters to you?
Saving lives. Literally, it's about saving lives. I've spent my entire career in the pharmaceutical industry, and throughout that have had the opportunity to launch a number of products which have made instrumental changes or differences in people's lives. And so, just moving forward and based on what I'm doing today, my passion is really how can we save lives by reducing the transmission of bad bugs or pathogens that potentially can kill people. So that's why FendX exists. And I'm really excited to actually be here with you and ultimately go to DealFlow to really focus on this incredible mission to reduce infections and death rates among people in the United States and around the world. So that's really what I'm focused on. And I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Love bringing mission-based individuals on to share why they're doing what they're doing and really what we can all learn from that as well. So great to have you on. Carolyn, how'd you get into this business? And then the business overall is saving lives. Like, where'd that come from?
Well, again, my background is being in corporate America in pharmaceutical companies. I had fairly senior roles in many of the large pharma companies. And, you learn that, there's number one, there's a ton of diseases out there. And there really are a dearth of solutions. So when you can come up with something that can truly make a difference in people's lives, it really means something. It's personally impactful, but also impactful from a healthcare standpoint and an economic standpoint. And so I spent most of my career in corporate companies, mostly in head offices in the United States. And I just decided it was time to go out on my own and do something and really focus and make a personal impact, but ultimately, a holistic impact. And I ended up focusing on the infectious disease area, which is an area I know very well because it is very difficult to control the spread of bugs that are resistant to antibiotics, et cetera. And so there need to be innovative solutions to really help to combat this absolute terrible problem. And so that's what I'm focused on right now in developing products in my company to help combat that.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about FendX Technologies. Let's start there.
So I started FendX Technologies. I have a co-founder as well. I started it back in 2000, just before COVID. And actually just before COVID.
Timing.
And we found this technology at one of the local Toronto universities that actually, if you put it on a surface, it prevents bugs from sticking to the surface. And as a consequence of that, they can't replicate and they can't be transmitted from person to person. You may know that surfaces are an exceptionally high point of contact for bad bugs. So, nobody really wants to touch surfaces, right? None of us do, but we have to. But that is a major point of contamination. And that's how it's one of the vehicles by which contamination spreads very fast and readily. And so I thought this is really cool, particularly and this was pre-COVID. And of course, COVID hit, and I'm like, this is absolutely fantastic. It couldn't be a better product to bring into the market. Unfortunately, we had to do R&D, so we didn't make it to the market during COVID, but there's still absolute value in a
Yeah.
surface protection coating. So from there, and I can talk later about where we are with our products, but from there, we've actually expanded into other surface coatings, other ways to actually detect bugs on surfaces. So we're
Mm,
really expanding into a more holistic approach to how to detect and prevent transmission
mm,
of pathogens on surfaces between people.
mm,
And that's what FendX is about. And we're a public company. We're on the Canadian Securities Exchange, also on
mm.
the OTCQB as well as the Frankfurt Exchange. And
Yeah.
we've been public since 2023. So I can
I'm always
explain more
I'm
about what
always
we do.
curious, Carolyn, when an entrepreneur, somebody wants to go out and do it and start a new venture, when they always, there's the seed of the idea. Obviously, you found this technology. How did you know this was going to be a company and something that you were going to be spending, a significant amount of your time and life on? How did you know?
After I left the pharmaceutical industry, I ended up working with a lot of startup companies.
Mm,
And because I became an angel investor, and I realized that it takes a certain personality, it takes a certain
yeah.
set of experiences to be able to say, this is going to work and this isn't going
Mm,
to work. And
yeah.
given my knowledge base and the years that I've been in the pharmaceutical industry and across different jobs,
Mm,
I realized I could actually determine very easily what companies may or may not make it. And in fact,
wow.
it
Hmm.
turned out that, and listen, I wasn't right 100%,
Of
but
course.
for the most part, I was right. And so I thought, I want to do this.
Mm,
And we found this technology, as I said, that was pretty interesting. And so I realized that there was an opportunity to be able to build a company around this. And the building blocks, you need to know the building blocks. You need to be
hmm.
very strategic as well as tactical in your approach to be able to really pull this together, which we ultimately did and
Yeah.
went public on top of it.
Yeah.
So it takes a certain skill set, and not everybody has it. And, I think my experience over the number of years has really helped me to understand what could be successful, what versus what
Mm,
may not be an opportunity.
mm. So tell me where the company's at today. Like, where are you at today?
So, as I mentioned, we have surface coatings. We
Hmm.
are in the process of ready to sign a CMO partnership to start the
Hmm.
scale up of our product for purposes of then enlisting other companies to help us get the product onto the market.
Hmm.
And I anticipate that we'll be in that position by the end of 2026. We're
Mm,
also developing an app, and
hmm.
it's an AI-driven app that uses images to be able to detect pathogens on surfaces. We're
Mm,
hoping that we get to the point in the next couple of months that we can do beta testing of that app and then
mhm.
ultimately bring it to market to the consumer for commercial retail purposes and ultimately for healthcare. The whole idea is that you detect them using your smartphone. So
Mm,
you basically get the app from Apple or Google, and you basically scan your surface and you can tell if your surface is clean or not.
mm.
The other area that we're focused in on is actually novel disinfectants, which are eco-friendly and they're also non-toxic. You could actually drink these. That's how crazy it is, but they're incredibly
Yeah.
effective. And so we've got a surface protection coating, which stays in place for a long period of time. We're
Mm,
building, these novel disinfectants, which you can use on an ad-needed basis, and then an AI diagnostic that will tell you clean your surface, and you can use these
mm,
very eco-friendly disinfectants to be able to clean up the space. So those are our surface protection, but we're also in a
mm,
very interesting area of focusing on Foley catheters, which you may or may not know, but Foley catheters are fraught with causing infections. It costs the
mm.
healthcare system a lot of money. And if you're an elderly person, you potentially can die from this. So
Well,
what we're doing is we're coating Foley catheters with a coating that the pathogens can't stick to it.
mm,
And the idea is it's still in its relatively early stages, but the whole idea is that ultimately we'll be able to, well, we have already shown, but in
yeah.
a clinical setting, show that you can actually reduce the number of infections significantly versus just using a Foley catheter. And by the way,
Mm,
Foley catheters go into the bladder. They're bladder
yeah.
catheters. So that's what
Wow.
we're working on. And in 2026, as I say, with our surface coating, we should, by the end of the year, be in a position to have partnerships in place to then begin to sell our product as it relates to the AI app beta testing and then bring it to the market in 2026. I anticipate
Mm,
that's going to be a fairly significant opportunity for us, not only the subscriptions, but the data that we'll collect from it as well, and what we'll be able to do
hmm.
with that data. And then as
Yeah.
it relates to the disinfectants, we just entered into a partnership or a collaboration with a company in the US that is already into the eco disinfectant space, and we're going to develop even more novel, more effective disinfectants with them. So pretty
Mm,
excited about that. And I anticipate that by the end of the year, we may have our first disinfectant. And then the Foley catheter is a little bit longer term because it requires clinical studies. We'll
hmm.
partner that with a pharmaceutical company to take it to the next steps in the clinical development arena.
Man, you got a lot going on, Carolyn.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah, yeah, it's
It's
fun.
great. It's great. And a deal flow. So for the deal flow conference, what are you looking for? What's the ask?
Well, we are in the process of doing a capital raise.
Hmm.
So that's what I'll be there. I've been to the conference every year. It's actually a pretty good
I
conference.
love it. It's good.
Oh,
I liked it
yeah.
when it was the micro cap. I think this is the first year it's called the
Yes.
DealFlow Discovery, but I was like, it's always a great group of people, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. And I love meeting with the investors. It's an opportunity to meet with so many at one time.
Hmm.
And when you've gone a few years, you get to know everybody as well.
Yeah.
So it's good to see folks again, but also meet new potential investors, bankers, etc. So
Hmm.
the reason we're going is number one, we have significant updates to provide.
Hmm.
Secondly, it's really to start moving in the direction of doing a capital raise. So we want the investment community to know that that's where we're going
Yeah.
and provide the updates. And quite frankly, at FendX, we are truly at an inflection point, in my opinion, because we were in development for the longest time. Now things are more tangible and real in terms of moving towards potential revenue generation. So
Mm.
it's a really exciting time at FendX.
Yeah. Amazing. Carolyn, this has been great. It is an exciting time. I like all the things that I'm hearing. What's next? I mean, what's next for you? What's next for the company as we get into 2026?
It really is about focusing on commercialization, getting
Mm,
across that finish line, and continue to develop our Foley catheter, et cetera. But at the end of the day, I really want to get to the revenue generating
hmm.
point in this company. And I'm pretty excited that I believe we're close to that. So
Mm.
that to me is really such an important thing. And as I said, it's this inflection point. And
Yeah.
it's pretty exciting to get to this point and see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. How do people follow up? How do they follow the company? How do they learn more?
So you can go to our website. Our corporate deck is
Hmm.
there. All of our press releases are there. As a public company, if we want to talk about anything, we have to put out press releases,
Hmm.
et cetera. So they're all there. You can get updates as well. And also on our social media, we're on Facebook, X, as
Hmm.
well as LinkedIn, and you can certainly find us there. You can also subscribe to get news from FendX and through social media, et cetera. So those are
Yeah.
opportunities as well.
Fantastic. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so you can just click on the links and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So, again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Carolyn, thank you again so much for coming on.
Thank you. It was fun. Thanks.